guys, and welcome back to my coding corner. And today you've just joined me as I'm just going to improve the layout of my sub-quiz form, the multi and the dividing as well. So let's start with the subtract box, and then I'm going to update everything else as we go. Copy that. I'm going to copy everything and paste it, because in that way not only does it ensure that I have consistency in the app, but it also allows me then to, it makes my life much easier. 681 by 365. I'm going to take one off. I'm going to do 680 by 365. There we go. That takes care of that. And then what I'm going to do, before I do that, sort of thought, I'm going to get rid of that, because I've copied bits over. Copying bits over six hundred and 680 by 365. So I didn't want to do that. Let me just copy those. And then you see what I mean when I say it's all consistent. So the quiz label, that's the same. Number 1 text, number 2 text, answer. Number 1 text, number 2 text, answer. This plus label is now going to become a subtract label. And then that then becomes that. And then look at the check button. All we need to do then is just check button again, and we have no issues. That will end up making my life much easier if I can get this to work. Let me just re-enable the subtract button. And then we'll try it. But we had no issues there. Let's try 8 on that. Right, there's something else I needed to do as well. Just to go back here. Me.close on that. And then let's try again. Now that works out just fine. I think in this case I'm just going to have to sort the code out that way. How many lines of code have I got in the quiz? 32. And then we want, let's have a look at the answer text as well. I think that could be where I've gone wrong. And I just want to have a look. Got 32 lines here. And only 30 here. Ah, I know what's happened. Right, let me just. And don't answer text. What else is missing from that? Something's missing from. I know where I've gone wrong. So that gives me 32 lines of code, which is what we need. And that button is enabled by default. Let's disable it by default. And I better check the add form as well. That works. I'm going to try and get one wrong as well, on purpose. And that works as well. Let's go for yeah, that works as well. And then all I need to do with the subform is just do another me.close. Because it's because I decided just to keep everything consistent. I just copied and pasted everything just to keep it consistent. So that's the subtraction form done, along with the addition. But before I do that, sorry about that. Let's get rid of those. And I just want to update the icon as well. So it's that. And subtraction quiz. And that's all there was left for me to do. That's one form down for the generators and another 2 to go. Just want to double check that. And there we go. Next thing I want to look at, get rid of the sub form because that's now done. We now go to the multiplication form. Just need to remember that. Need to remember that symbol. This is going to be a fun part. Let me just quickly save that. 680 by 365. I think I'm just going to have to yeah, that's fine. And so will that be as well. And then just going to quickly nip into Word because I need to get one of those. So I need to get those symbols up. So insert. That's interesting. I've got a blank document saved. Insert symbol times and divide. And then I can then get rid of this 680 by 365. And then we'll go into the multiplication form. And go, there's number 1, number 2, answer, multi-label. And we'll change the text of that. This is why I've got the Word document open. And we'll turn it into that. And then I did that bit last. What I'm going to do, what I need to do now is be consistent with everything else. Pardon me. We have 2 errors, but that's gonna change. So I'm gonna fix those. Let's cut that and put that down there. And then I'll cut that and put back to where the original button was. And then on that I need to check that. So that gives me 32 lines of code. And we need to recheck on the else if. That gives me 32 lines of code. And then I'll cut that. That one I've done. That's the answer. Get rid of that as well, so that keeps me at 32. And then that takes care of that. Just want to double check. Apart from that, everything should be consistent. All that's left for me to do now is the me.close. And then I'll cut that and put that there. And that should be at 32 as well. And then let's re-enable the multiplication button. And then let's debug. And see what we find. So 6 times 3 is 18. Let's get that wrong on purpose. We all know the answer to that is going to be 6. And that's done. What I do want to look at is moving these. But I'll deal with them later, because what I'm going to look at doing is eventually putting them into groups, and then put them into group boxes, and then add scores. I'll do the point bit first. All that's left for me to do now is just change the icon and then turn it into a quiz. And then we'll save that. I'll double check it. And everything's all good. But join me back in a bit, because there's a couple of things I need to do, and I'll then sort out the division form, which is the last of the two. That's the last of the forms I need to look at. See you in a bit, guys. Welcome back, and we're now just going to finish things off with the generators by doing the divide. Now, one thing I do need to remember, let's get rid of that. The one thing I do need to remember to do on the second number is give the put in 5, because otherwise it won't work. It'll just throw an exception and crash. So let's adjust the size of that, and we'll just copy, if it will let me, and paste that. You can definitely tell how inconsistent the titles are. my iCloud's come up. Never mind. Let's just move swiftly on from that. And then we'll change that to divide label. And then I'll cut that. And turn the text into that. And then of course, as I mentioned, that needs to have some text in it. Put a 5 in there. I will put in some different levels as well. Some difficulty levels. And eventually we will have decimal points. But for now, I'll just leave them as it is. Number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2, and answer. And then we'll just do the check on that as well. Cut, paste that, and then we'll cut that again. Oh dear. Cut that, and we'll paste that there. Change that to check. Even though that was going to do it for me, I'm going to do it anyway. And then we want to change the bit, we need to add this bit in as well. The check buttons. That did it for me. Thank you very much. No, that did it for me. It's good to know. And then I need to change, I need to move this from the answer text to that. Got two lots of end subs. So I'm going to get rid of, and then all that's left for me to do now is the close button, so I'm going to move up here and close. That takes me down to 32 lines of code, and what I'm going to do before I do anything else is, of course, update the title on that so it then just becomes Division Quiz. And that takes care of that. And then I'm going to re-enable that button as such. And then hopefully that will work. So we've got 40 divided by 5, that's 8. That works. Because everything's divided by that, we have the quick way of doing this. So what I might do in the very easy, if I'm able to, is tweak about with the code a little bit and have it so it then allows you to just variate between 5 and 10, and then I multiply that bit there as well by the second. But I'm going to tweak about with that with my standalone maths program before I do even think about that. Another thing I want to look at, and I think this might be a good idea if I do that, let me unlock those buttons. I'm going to pop the label in the middle. I'll pop that there for a moment. I'll just leave that there for now. And I'm just going to add a couple of buttons because I'm going to do the square roots and my exponents and the roots, powers and roots. So we'll have a label and then I'll add them once everything's been refined. And then I'll call that for now, because then once I've organised everything, I'll then start thinking about doing my roots and numbers, the number powers, the powers and the roots. Let's lock them into place. And then let's lock that into place as well. And then we'll add some buttons. (186 by 50), I need to remember that. And then we'll copy and paste those. This one will be the powers button. And roots buttons. And then what I'm going to do before I carry on with that is lock them into place. And then I need to disable those because the forms haven't been done for them yet. And then I'm going to add another label. And let's unlock that as well. Put that as a label. On its own now as well, because these are the ones that still need to be done. So without further ado, I'm just going to save that and lock it. And I'll wrap it up for now. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.